So again, thanks a lot. My name is Bill Zakarow, and I'm Director of Procurement at Toronto 2015. I'm going to speak to you for 15 minutes, and I hope to clarify four primary objectives. First of all, I want to talk about what we're going to buy over the next 3.5 years, when we're going to buy it, to procure goods and services, and then most importantly, how you business people in the room can participate in these business opportunities. I'd like to start by first clarifying and just understanding the spend a bit better. As Ian has already stated, the total budget for the games is $1.4 billion. $700 million of that is capital infrastructure, and of that, the majority, the lion's share by far, is managed by Infrastructure Ontario. So you'll hear more about that a little later, as soon as I get off the podium. The other $700 million is operating expense, and of the $700 million, around $300 to $400 million of that is constitutes procurement opportunities. The difference between the 700 and the 400 are other spends, our organizational costs, rents, venue rental cost, fees and licenses and royalties and so on. So think about between $300 and $400 million of goods and services. I'm going to take you through a couple of slides right now, all pictorial, but it'll give you a good sense of the major categories and what those products and services are. First of all, a category called overlay. We call overlay the finishing of venues to get them ready for games time. So, for example, temporary seating, tents, portable washrooms, fencing, and furniture for the village, for example. Significant spend in overlay. And by the way, I'm giving you these as ideas because I don't know everyone in the room yet in terms of what you sell, but I'm sure I'll find out a little later. So think of, when you see these charts, just think of how that affects you and how you can take advantage of these opportunities. Hospitality and travel is going to be a significant spend with us over the next 3.5 years, primarily near the end of close to games time. We're going to be sourcing hotels, host hotels, feeding food and beverage for venues, uniforms for our more than 20,000 volunteers, community events, opening and closing ceremonies, just to name a few. Services is also a large category, pretty broad category that includes translations and interpretation services, food cafeteria to feed athletes at the village, security services, of course, transportation services, writing services. Technology is another large spend. The technology primarily it can be very specific to games, so scoring, timing, and reporting of scores in that to central hub for the dissemination of data back to the venues and reporters and so on. Networking gear is going to be a large spend with this. And then, of course, we have scoreboards and video displays. So the venues will have high definition video in most of them. And then games operations, so another broad category but significant. This includes all of the equipment, all the sporting goods equipment, the host broadcast equipment, so television cameras, boxing rings, gold medals, silver medals, bronze medals, and of course there's a polyclinic, so there's going to be portable medical equipment, X-ray, MRI, and a host of others. So this is a high level, in no sense, by no means was this meant to be a detailed overview, but I just wanted to give you a good idea of what the goods and services that we're going to require over time. The next important question is, so when are you going to buy it? When are you buying these goods and services? As the chart shows, the closer we get to games time, the procurement activity ramps up. So starting 2013, we're planning now. So by no means, please don't wait for 2013 or 2014 to get involved. We're doing a lot of planning now, but the lion's share of the buying and contracting will take place 2013, 2014, early 2015. So I'm going to show you a little later how you can get involved now, because as you know, in the world of procurement or business, waiting to the last minute is going to ensure one thing, and that's probably going to be delays. So we're sourcing now, we're pre-qualifying suppliers, we're building our database, so when the time comes we can effectively source. So the process, I think it's a fairly simple process, but I'll let you be the judge of that for procurement. We have think of three spend thresholds, up to $10,000, fairly informal, good comparative buying, the use of purchase orders, credit cards, etc. Between $10,000 and $100,000, we're going to do what's called an invitational request for proposal, or an invitational RFQ, request for quotations. And so who do we invite? We do market research. We do market research on the supply base. We look at your capability, your capacity. But the most important thing for you to probably take away is that you need to register with us now so that you can get into our database. So when it's time to buy translation services, for example, and it's a bad example because we just finished buying translation services, but the 7 suppliers that we're using for translation services all came out of our database of pre-registered suppliers. So it's important to get your company information into the database, and I'll show you a little later how to do that. Then, of course, the big category is over $100,000. We use an open RFP process. We use MERX, and Paul's going to talk a bit about MERX later, as an online RFP facilitator. And again, so for those last 2 categories, we're going to do 3 things. We're posting them on our website. The open tenders will be posted on MERX. We're developing our website. We're creating, I guess, a new version of our website. But what it's going to do is when you register, you can check off a box to be made aware of all tenders that come up, so that you can look at our website every day, or you can register with us, check a box off, and then you'll get an email as I update my page indicating which tenders are going to come off. So it's a neat way of staying informed and not missing out on opportunities. The procurement process, again, I think it's quite simple, but you can be the judge of that. Requirements definitions is the starting point. So it's us defining what we need, when we need it. We do supplier pre-qualification, so it's important for us to identify which suppliers are capable, have capacity, have the financial strength to stay the course with us over the next 3.5 years. And then we'll do the competitive tender. We have an assessment policy back at the organizing committee, so that not a single person assesses the response. So it's a team assessment. We do a supplier selection. We contract with you, and then we implement. Our selection is not made on price alone, although price and total cost is very important to us, and as taxpayers, it's probably pretty important to you as well. The availability of goods and services, so we need to select a supplier that can deliver. Quality of the goods and services, these are high-performance athletes that will be performing, so we need high-performance suppliers, we need good quality goods and services. Innovative solutions, capabilities, experience. Diversity is important to us, so Ian touched on diversity. My next slide, I'm going to touch a little more on supplier diversity and our program to engage and enable diverse suppliers in this region. And then finally, financial strength. So financial strength tie back to the second bullet. We select you now for something that you need to deliver in a 1.5 years time or 2 years time. We just need to make sure that the businesses are financially sound, so that they can deliver at that time. Supplier diversity. So we have a procurement strategy. A big part of our strategy is around supplier diversity. We classify supplier diversity as businesses that are owned and operated 51% or more by Aboriginal people, women, individuals with multicultural heritage or visible minorities, and then individuals with disabilities. So we've classified these as diverse businesses in the regions. Our program and our strategy is to enable things like we're doing tonight, is to get out into the community, to engage the businesses, enable them to bid on opportunities. So what I mean by that is, I'll give you a good example. A lot of the diverse suppliers or diverse businesses are small to medium in size. We're going to have some fairly large requirements, but we have the ability and the capability of taking large requirements and piecing them out into smaller pieces so that smaller businesses can bid on them, and that's an exercise that we're going to do. The other thing that we're promoting is we will have larger companies as partners, as suppliers, and we want to encourage a partnership between small, diverse supplier and large supplier, so tier 1, tier 2 relationship. And that relationship, once forged, will last beyond the game. So that's one of our legacy requirements, is to build supplier capacity in this sector, so that it lasts and sustains far beyond our cycle. So please, I can talk more about this later if you wanted to see me. In summary, we're open for business now, so please register with us. I can talk to you individually later on, inform you what we're buying over the next quarter. We're ramping up in 2013. So doing business in our backyard simply means I have a strategy to buy in the area, primarily to buy in the areas that are hosting the games. So the Greater Golden Horseshoe. If we need to, then we go out to the rest of Ontario, the rest of Canada, and then we'll go internationally. There are just certain things and categories that don't lend themselves to North American suppliers, but I can say that up to now, 95+% of what we bought over the last year and a half have been from local businesses. And it's time to market your business. So if that's a takeaway, some homework for you, please start marketing your business with us. And here's how. We have a website. I believe the tab has changed since I updated this chart. It is called, help me out, Getting Involved. So there's a tab called Getting Involved. Inside that tab, there's a Business Opportunities sub-tab, and then there's a form in there for you to complete and just submit. And that, I just get that data, we put it into a database, and that's what I use to search on when I'm buying goods and services. And you see our website. And last but not least, seek out partners. Paul's going to talk a bit later on Mercs in terms of how you can use Mercs for seeking out larger companies to partner with for certain goods and services. And I'm going to end with I hate stealing Paul's thunder on Mercs, but please use Mercs. There's a lot of value for no money at all. And today you can go onto Mercs, you can do a search on Toronto 2015, and you can see the business opportunities that we have open at any time. I can't promise you that there's any today. Keep looking, because as we ramp up, there will be a lot of business opportunities, RFPs on that site.